This is the last flag change of every country in Europe, and we will start with Sweden, who in 1906 changed from a darker blue on its flag to a lighter blue. And this was because the union flag with Norway, the Norway and Sweden Union, had a darker blue Swedish flag, and that one dissolved in 1905 when Norway left. So Sweden removed the old union symbol in 1905, and then in 1906 they reverted to a more lighter blue Swedish flag. Then we have Norway, which in 1899 removed the union symbol from its flag, which was 5 years before they left the union in 1905. And then we have Denmark. Denmark hasn't changed their flag since 1219. They got the Danneborg thing where God gave them their flags, like Sweden, and I have no idea what their flag was before. I have no idea how it looked before. Then we have Finland, who temporarily used a red flag with their state insignia in 1918, and then a couple months later adopted their current Scandinavian cross flag, the white and the blue cross, which they still use today. Then we have Iceland, who before 1944 used this flag, which is just the same flag with different ratio and a different color, a more ultramarine blue, which they then changed to this blue in 1944. And then we have the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom changed their flag in 1801 from the King's Color to the Union Jack, and this was because the Kingdom of Ireland had only been in a personal union with the United Kingdom previously, but in 1801 they united into a singular entity. And then we have Ireland. Since the Irish proclaimed the Republic of Ireland in 1916, they have off and on used the current Irish flag, which they also used during their independence war between 1919 and 1921. And then in 1937 it became the official flag of Ireland. And the flag they used before, of course, was the Union Jack. And then we have Portugal. After coup d'etat in 1910 against the monarchy, the flag was changed in 1911 to remove all the monarchy parts of Portugal. And then we have Spain. After Francisco Franco's death in 1975, the restoration of monarchy was started, and they started also designing a new flag. The Francisco Franco flag was used up to 1981, when the present flag was introduced. And then we have Andorra. The tricolor flag of Andorra was first introduced by Napoleon III in 1866, but it took until 1993 for the Andorrans to decide how the coat of arms should look like. Here are some variants of the coat of arms before 1993. And then we have France. In 2020, France decided to revert back to a darker shade of blue on their flag, which more closely resembles their flag from 1794. And of course, here you can see the very big difference between its blues. And then we have Monaco. Monaco's current flag was adopted in 1881 by then Prince Charles III. And the colors used in the flag, the red and white, has been heretical colors of the House of Grimaldi since at least 1339. And this was the flag we used before. And then we have Switzerland. The first flag of Switzerland used as a unifying flag was a tricolor red, yellow and green flag used from 1798. But the Helletic Republic was a French satellite state, and after the Napoleonic Wars, different cantons in Switzerland continued to use their own flag, but they had a unifying coat of arms, the white cross on a red background. It wasn't until 1841 when the white cross with a red background became their official flag. And then we have Italy. In 1946, after a vote to abolish the monarchy, they removed the royal coat of arms from the flag, as they were proclaimed as a republic. And in 2006, they changed the green color a little. And then we have San Marino. At some point in the 19th century, San Marino added their coat of arms to their flag, and it was standardized in 2011, which means that they finally decided how it would look like. Then we have the Vatican City. In 1929, the Vatican City adopted this flag. Before this, there was no Vatican City, as it got its independence from Italy in 1929. Then we have Belgium. During the Belgian Revolution between 1830 and 1831, the Belgians used this flag as the revolutionary flag, and then after the revolution, when they finally got their independence in 1831, they adopted the current Belgian flag. So the de facto Belgian flag before 1831 was the revolutionary flag, and the de jure Belgian flag was the Dutch flag, as they were a part of the Netherlands before they got their independence. And then we have Luxembourg. After independence from the Netherlands, Luxembourg started using this flag, but it wasn't made the official flag of Luxembourg until 1993. And then we have the Netherlands. When the Batavian Republic fell and Napoleon Bonaparte created the Kingdom of Holland, the modern Dutch flag started its use. And this was in 1806. And then we have Germany. In 1945, after the fall of Nazi Germany, Germany was put under different military occupation zones, and they used this occupation flag. In 1949, West Germany was created and started using this flag, and East Germany used this flag, and in 1990, East and West Germany united, continuing using the West German flag. And then we have Liechtenstein. Under the Olympic Games of 1936, Liechtenstein came to the horrifying realization that it had in fact the same flag as Haiti. So in 1937, they added a crown to differentiate themselves from Haiti, which also added something to their flag. And then in 1982, they modified the crown to its modern look. And then we have Austria. In 1934, the Federal Republic of Austria added a two-headed eagle to its flag. In 1938, Austria was Anschlussed by Germany and incorporated into the Third Reich. And in 1945, they formally adopted their old flag, the tricolored red, white and red again. And then we have Czechia. In 1920, a blue triangle was added to the old Bohemian flag, which was identical to the Polish flag. And then we have Slovakia. In 1992, the Slovak Republic inside of Czechoslovakia added their national coat of arms to their flag, which then they continued to use after gaining independence from Czechoslovakia in 1993. And then we have Poland. In 1980, Poland changed the red on its flag from that red to that red. I know, very huge difference. And then we have Hungary. In 1990, after the fall of communism in Hungary, they removed the communist insignia from their flag. And then we have Slovenia. After the 10 Days War to get independence from Yugoslavia, Slovenia in 1991 removed their star from their flag and added their coat of arms. And then we have Croatia. In 1990, when Croatia declared independence before the Yugoslav War, they removed their star and added their coat of arms to their flag. But that was only for a short time, from July to December, and they finally in December of 1990 landed on the current day flag, which is also a coat of arms. It's just not the same coat of arms as the one before. And then we have Bosnia. Before 1998, Bosnia used this flag. The Serbs did not like this flag, and they were bickering how their flag should be, or uniting flag for Bosnia and Herzegovina. So in 1998, the United Nations introduced this flag, the current Bosnian flag. And then we have Montenegro. In 2004, the then Republic of Montenegro, in the union state with Serbia, decided for the reason of more nationalism in Montenegro to adopt a new flag which they continued to use after independence in 2006. Then we have Serbia. In 2004, under the union with Montenegro, they added their coat of arms to this flag. And then in 2010, they changed the colors a bit. You can see the difference between the colors here. And then we have North Macedonia. After Macedonia got its independence from Yugoslavia in 1991, they used this flag. The Greeks did not like this and filed for a trademark of the sun symbol in the flag, which was also used in the province of Macedonia in Greece. And in 1995, an agreement was reached where a new Macedonian flag was created with a more stylized sun. And then we have Albania. With the fall of communism in Albania, the yellow star was removed in 1992. And in 2002, the flag was standardized to its modern look. And then we have Romania. In 1989, during the Romanian Revolution, the protest cut out the communist insignia out of their flags. And the same year, with the fall of communism in Romania, the old Romanian flag was restored as its national flag. Then we have Moldova. In 1990, before declaring independence from the USSR, the Moldovan SSR adopted the current tricolor flag with the coat of arms to show its more Romanian identity, and they still continue to use it after independence in 1991. Then we have Bulgaria. After the fall of communism in Bulgaria, the communist insignia was removed in 1990. And then we have Greece. In 1973, the Greek military junta abolished the monarchy and changed the country's flag from this flag to the more darker version of a more modern flag. Only a year later, in 1974, the Greek military junta collapsed because of the Turkish invasion of Cyprus. And in 1975, the naval flag became the sole flag of Greece. And again, in 1978, the naval flag became the sole flag of Greece. Again, it's a little confusing. And then we have Cyprus. In 2006, Cyprus changed the look of the olive branches on their flag from this to this. And then we have Malta. After becoming independent from the British in 1964, they changed their colonial flag to a more coat of arms version of their flag, which they still use today. And then we have Estonia. In 1990, the Estonian SSR restored their old Estonian flag they used before becoming a territory of the USSR, and they continued using it after independence. And then we have Latvia. As again, in 1990, the Latvian SSR restored their old Latvian flag they had before becoming a part of the Soviet Union, and they continued using this after becoming independent from the USSR. And then we have Lithuania. In 1988, the Lithuanian SSR, during the growing independence movements of the Lithuanians, they restored their old Lithuanian flag they had before becoming a territory of the USSR, and in 1992 they had a referendum to affirm their flag after they have gotten independence. And then we have Belarus. In 1995, Belarus decided to revert back to their old Soviet-era flag, but without the hammer and sickle. And in 2012, they slightly adjusted the pattern on the side. And then we have Ukraine. In 1990, after independence, Ukraine changed from their Soviet-era flag to a light blue and yellow flag, which was standardized in 1992. And then in 2006, the current blue and yellow flag was introduced with a more dark blue version. And then we have Russia. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Russian tricolor flag was adopted again. And then in 1993, they adjusted the colors a little bit so it looked less sun-bleached. And that was every flag change of Europe. Bye!